trends are emerging and what sort of concerns out there. And I'll say I've identified a few things that I would say are concerning trends developing within the RV industry.
They promised freedom, but now they're gone. 14 RVs. Wiped off the map, and you probably never saw it coming. For decades, these rigs ruled campgrounds and highways. The Minnie Winnie, the Bounder, the Diplomat. But today, dealers can't give them away. And here's the twist nobody wants to admit. It's not just about RVs. It's about the death of affordable adventure. So why did families turn their backs on them? How did innovation fail to keep them alive? And what happens when the entry-level RV disappears forever? Stick around, because the last RV on this list will shock even longtime owners. Winnebago, Minnie Winnie. Step back in time to the golden era of family road trips, and you will almost certainly remember the Winnebago Minnie Winnie parked proudly at campgrounds across America. This compact Class C recreational vehicle stood for decades as the trusted starter motorhome for families who wanted something approachable, dependable, and not overwhelming to operate. Unlike the towering Class A diesel pushers, the Minnie Winnie could be piloted with confidence by everyday drivers, making it feel less like a bus and more like an adventurous home on wheels. Parents loved its blend of affordability and practicality, with sleeping quarters tucked above the cab, a tidy little kitchen, and space for the kids to pile in after a long day at the lake. But time does not wait for legends. The Minnie Winnie began losing ground as buyers shifted toward sleeker Sprinter van conversions, loaded with touchscreen controls and high-tech amenities, or toward larger fifth-wheel trailers offering residential comfort on the road. Modern consumers now demand features like multiple flat-screen televisions, induction cooktops, automatic leveling systems, and plush interiors that rival small apartments. Against such competition, the once celebrated Minnie Winnie looks stripped down, even outdated. Its simple wood cabinetry and lightweight construction that once attracted families now struggle to stand against evolving expectations. Still, for those who grew up camping in one, the Minnie Winnie holds a nostalgic glow. It represents freedom, simpler times, and the thrill of hitting the highway with little more than optimism and a map. Keep your eyes on the horizon, because the next entry reveals how a so-called half-ton hero began to stumble in today's market. Keystone Cougar Half-Ton Travel Trailer. Once marketed as the perfect companion for the average pickup owner, the Keystone Cougar Half-Ton Travel Trailer carved out a strong place in the recreational vehicle landscape. It was pitched to the hard-working man or woman who owned a half-ton truck and wanted to tow a trailer without upgrading to a heavy-duty rig. For many families through the 2000s, this model symbolized freedom and affordability rolled into one. It delivered comfortable sleeping arrangements, compact kitchens, and functional bathrooms, all wrapped in a design that could follow a family from coast to coast without demanding too much from the tow vehicle. However, times have changed. Modern half-ton pickups are far more powerful than their predecessors, capable of towing larger and heavier trailers without breaking a sweat. With that evolution, consumers began bypassing the Cougar Half-Ton in favor of full-size fifth wheels loaded with luxury features. While the Cougar Half-Ton offered practicality, it could not keep up with the residential-style interiors, automatic leveling systems, and spacious layouts that competitors provided. Buyers who once viewed the Cougar as an affordable step-up from tent camping now see it as a compromise, falling short in technology and comfort. Despite its dependable reputation and long run in the industry, this model is fading fast from dealer lots. It remains a reminder of a time when lightweight travel trailers filled a vital gap. But in today's market, the appetite for more space and more convenience is undeniable. Stay tuned, because our next entry exposes how a once prestigious fifth wheel found itself quietly slipping into obscurity. If you're enjoying this countdown so far, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment with the RV you think should never disappear. Your opinion might spark the biggest conversation yet. Jayco Eagle Fifth Wheel. For many years, the Jayco Eagle Fifth Wheel was a symbol of middle-class pride rolling down American highways. It stood as a bridge between affordable travel trailers and the premium luxury rigs that only a select few could justify. Introduced decades ago and refined through the 2000 era, the Eagle carried a reputation for balance. Not too large, not too small, and priced so that a hard-working family could stretch their budget and still feel like they owned something special. Inside, the model offered solid cabinetry, residential-style kitchens, and dependable sleeping quarters that allowed generations of campers to create lasting memories on long summer trips. But the modern recreational vehicle market has shifted in dramatic ways. As buyers lean toward the top-of-the-line Jayco Pinnacle or the equally admired Jayco North Point, the Eagle has slowly lost its spotlight. Consumers crave bigger layouts, high-definition entertainment systems, whisper-quiet heating and cooling, and amenities that rival modern apartments. Against such expectations, the once proud Eagle now feels caught in the middle. It is no longer the budget champion, and it fails to outshine the higher-end choices. Dealers who once relied on steady Eagle sales now see it move sluggishly, overshadowed by models offering more prestige. What remains is a name that still sparks nostalgia, but struggles to inspire new loyalty. The Jayco Eagle fifth wheel may not vanish overnight, but its role has clearly diminished. It represents a changing industry where good enough no longer sells. Keep watching, because the next chapter uncovers a Class A motorhome that promised greatness, but could not weather the storm of progress. Thor Hurricane. There was a time when the Thor Hurricane stood tall as the budget-friendly gateway into the world of Class A motorhomes. Built to give first-time buyers the thrill of piloting a full-sized coach without draining their life savings, it offered an approachable price tag alongside the prestige of owning a genuine motorhome. Families who wanted the big rig experience but lacked the funds for a diesel pusher often turned to the Hurricane as their solution. With sleeping space for multiple passengers, a functional kitchen, and plenty of overhead storage, it delivered just enough comfort to make vacations on the open road feel exciting and memorable. Yet as the years passed, the Hurricane's reputation began to fade. Consumers became more demanding, expecting upgraded interiors, advanced electronic control systems, and quiet, dependable drivetrains. Competitors in the same price bracket began offering luxury touches that made the Hurricane feel plain. Reports of cheaper materials and outdated floor plans did not help its case either. Shoppers increasingly skipped over this model in favor of higher quality alternatives that better balanced affordability and refinement. What once felt like a clever entry-level decision soon came to be viewed as a compromise too many buyers were unwilling to make. Today, the Thor Hurricane remains on the road, but its influence has diminished greatly. It is remembered fondly by those who started their adventures behind its wheel, yet its decline illustrates how quickly the recreational vehicle market moves forward. Get ready, because the next spotlight shines on a legendary name that once ruled highways but now struggles to hold on to its former glory. Fleetwood Bounder. Among the long list of motorhomes that defined American road travel, few names carry as much weight as the Fleetwood Bounder. First rolling off assembly lines in the 1980s, it quickly became one of the most recognized Class A motorhomes in the country. For families looking to stretch out on extended trips, the Bounder offered spacious interiors, real residential amenities, and a price tag that felt attainable compared to ultra-luxury diesel pushers. It was often the choice for cross-country adventures, with kids piled into the back, parents at the wheel, and memories being made at every rest stop along the way. The Bounder's greatest strength was always its practicality. It delivered a comfortable ride, plenty of storage, and dependable components that gave buyers confidence. Yet, as decades passed, the recreational vehicle market evolved with lightning speed. Consumers began demanding advanced climate systems, slide-outs that transformed living space, smart home-style electronics, and interiors that looked more like upscale condos. Against those expectations, the Bounder began to appear dated, even when new model years arrived. While the name still carried recognition, younger buyers often overlooked it in favor of brands pushing modern designs and digital convenience. Today, the Fleetwood Bounder remains available, but sales have slowed dramatically. Nostalgia keeps it alive, but nostalgia alone cannot guarantee survival in a market where innovation and flash drive demand. The Bounder is a classic, but classics can fade when expectations outgrow tradition. And now, prepare yourself, because the next chapter highlights a hybrid camper that tried something different, yet never managed to secure a lasting audience. Forest River Rockwood Roo. In the crowded world of towable recreational vehicles, the Forest River Rockwood Roo tried to carve its niche by being something different. This hybrid travel trailer blended the lightweight design of a conventional towable with fold-out tent-style sleeping quarters that popped from the sides. At first glance, it seemed like the perfect solution for families moving up from tent camping, but not quite ready to invest in a large fifth wheel or luxury trailer. With the Roo, you could tow with a mid-sized truck or sport utility vehicle, set up camp quickly, and still enjoy the sensation of sleeping closer to the outdoors. For a time, this clever balance made sense. In the early 2000 era, the Rockwood Roo gained popularity among weekend campers who valued affordability and flexibility. Unfortunately, convenience only goes so far, and consumer expectations kept climbing. Buyers discovered that folding canvas sides were prone to leaks, offered little insulation against cold or heat, and demanded more upkeep than fully enclosed walls. Families who once admired the Roo's simplicity began drifting toward hard-sided trailers that promised more durability, better climate control, and interiors that felt less like a compromise. Today, the Rockwood Roo struggles to capture the interest of a new generation of campers. While loyal fans remain, many shoppers see it as outdated compared to streamlined alternatives. It stands as proof that innovation alone cannot guarantee lasting success when comfort and practicality dominate modern choices. Do not go anywhere, because the next segment takes us into the world of diesel pushers, where one luxury motorhome found itself stuck in the shadows of its own siblings. Newmar Ventana. When talking about motorhomes that once promised to bridge the gap between affordability and true luxury, the Newmar Ventana often comes up. Introduced as a diesel pusher that sat comfortably between the entry-level offerings and the ultra-premium Dutch Star, it attempted to capture buyers who wanted refinement without fully committing to the highest price tags. For years, it found steady success, offering polished interiors, slide-out expansions, and Newmar's trademark build quality. Owners appreciated the solid cabinetry, the whisper quiet ride, and the feeling of stepping into something that was clearly designed to last. Yet despite its strengths, the Ventana has always been caught in an awkward middle ground. Buyers who stretch their budgets often leap directly into the Dutch Star or even higher models, seeking the prestige and features that come with top-tier status. On the opposite end, value-driven customers lean toward smaller coaches that cost significantly less but still deliver the essential comforts. As a result, the Ventana is frequently overlooked, neither inexpensive enough to win over budget shoppers nor lavish enough to dominate the luxury conversation. In today's marketplace, where buyers expect digital control systems, residential-grade kitchens, and sophisticated interiors that rival modern homes, the Ventana's position is increasingly difficult to defend. It still carries Newmar's name, but brand recognition alone is not enough to hold off competitors offering more cutting-edge appeal. Stay tuned, because coming up next is a Class A motorhome that was supposed to give families an affordable taste of the big rig lifestyle, but instead found itself dismissed as a compromise. Coachman Mirada. For decades, the Coachman Mirada was advertised as the everyman's Class A motorhome, promising the thrill of a big coach at a price that middle-class families could justify. It was never meant to rival high-end diesel pushers, nor did it claim to compete with the top luxury names in the market. Instead, it positioned itself as an approachable entry point for buyers who wanted the size, the look, and the feel of a Class A without crossing into six-figure extremes. Inside, the Mirada offered functional layouts, adequate storage, and enough living space to bring the family along for cross-country vacations. For many buyers, in the 1990s and 2000 era, that formula worked beautifully. But as the years rolled forward, consumer expectations left the Mirada stranded. Buyers now crave modern electronics, whisper-quiet climate systems, residential kitchens, and interiors that look like upscale apartments. Against that backdrop, the Mirada's finishes and construction started to feel dated and even cheap compared to rivals. Reliability complaints did not help, with owners reporting frustrations about components wearing out faster than expected. In an era where even budget-conscious shoppers expect polish and technology, the Mirada's good enough approach has proven insufficient. Today, it remains in production, but its popularity has slipped dramatically. Dealers often struggle to move inventory, while shoppers gravitate toward other brands that deliver more style and substance for not much more money. Nostalgia keeps the name alive, yet nostalgia alone rarely drives sales in a fiercely competitive market. Do not change the channel, because next up we are diving into a once luxurious diesel coach that shined brightly before eventually fading into the background. Monaco Diplomat. Among the once revered luxury diesel motorhomes, the Monaco Diplomat held a reputation that many owners wore like a badge of honor. Launched as part of Monaco's ambitious lineup in the 1990s, it became a household name in campgrounds across America. The Diplomat delivered the prestige of a high-end coach without carrying the astronomical price of the top-tier Monaco Signature or Executive. Families and retirees loved the power of its diesel engines, the spacious slide-outs, and the carefully crafted interiors that blended elegance with functionality. For years, it symbolized achievement, a rig that could conquer long highways while turning heads at every campground stop. But the story of the Diplomat is also tied to the turbulence of the recreational vehicle industry. Economic downturns in the 2008 financial crisis, coupled with shifting ownership of the Monaco brand, weakened its presence. Competition surged from names like Newmar, Tiffin, and even Fleetwood, who pushed modern designs with digital systems and cutting-edge styling. Against this wave, the Diplomat began to look dated, its reputation slowly eroding as innovation left it behind. Buyers who once proudly wrote the checks for a Monaco coach now lean toward alternatives offering more technology and more reliability. Today, the Diplomat's name carries nostalgia, but nostalgia cannot overcome dwindling sales or the lack of a clear identity in a crowded market. It still shows up at rallies and in used lots, a reminder of its once proud status, but its days as a leader are firmly in the past. Stick around, because next we turn our attention toward a bargain trailer that promised affordability, but ultimately proved to be too much of a compromise. Gulfstream Amerilite. Travel back through campground history and you will find the Gulfstream Amerilite parked in driveways and tucked into state parks all across the nation. Designed as one of the most affordable travel trailers on the market, it became a go-to choice for families who wanted to escape the tent but could not justify the cost of a luxury recreational vehicle. The Amerilite promised lightweight construction, easy towing behind half-ton pickups or sport utility vehicles, and enough amenities to make a weekend adventure feel like home. For countless buyers during the 2000 era, it was the first step into the world of trailers and open-road freedom. Yet low prices often carry hidden costs. Over time, the Amerilite developed a reputation for thin walls, minimal insulation, and interiors that showed wear far too quickly. Competing brands began offering stronger frames, sleeker cabinetry, and technology upgrades while keeping prices competitive. Buyers noticed the difference, and many decided that paying a little more upfront saved frustration down the road. As expectations shifted toward value plus quality, the Amerilite's bargain bin reputation hurt its ability to attract new customers. Today, the Amerilite survives mostly on clearance lots and used listings, often purchased by first-time owners hoping to dip their toes into camping. It still carries nostalgia for those who began their journeys within its walls, but its relevance in the modern market is fading fast. Consumers now demand more than the bare minimum, and the Amerilite cannot keep pace. Next up, we talk about a downsized luxury diesel pusher that promised innovation, but ended up being an experiment buyers never truly embraced. Tiffin Allegro Breeze. In the world of diesel motorhomes, few experiments were as bold as the Tiffin Allegro Breeze. Marketed as the smallest, lightest rear diesel pusher in North America, it was introduced in the early 2010 era with the promise of combining maneuverability with diesel power. Tiffin built its reputation on luxury and craftsmanship, and the Breeze was meant to capture buyers who wanted diesel performance without the intimidating size of a 40-foot coach. Measuring under 33 feet in length, it could fit into tighter campgrounds while still boasting upscale features like real wood cabinetry, solid surface countertops, and advanced suspension. For city dwellers or couples nervous about driving a massive rig, the concept seemed revolutionary. However, the market was less enthusiastic than expected. The Allegro Breeze carried a hefty price tag, nearly equal to larger coaches that offered more space and storage. Buyers who could afford a diesel often wanted roomier layouts, multiple slide-outs, and king-sized beds, things the Breeze struggled to deliver. Meanwhile, those prioritizing small size leaned towards Sprinter-based Class C or Class B motorhomes, which offered better fuel efficiency and easier maintenance. This left the Breeze stranded between two worlds, admired for its innovation, but rarely chosen over competing options. Today, the Tiffin Allegro Breeze stands as a lesson in market mismatch. It proved that not every buyer seeking diesel power actually wanted compact dimensions. While Tiffin's larger Allegro models continue to thrive, the Breeze is fading quietly, remembered as ambitious but impractical. Stay tuned, because our next chapter shines a light on a once famous motorhome nameplate that is now little more than a fading memory of past vacations. Holiday Rambler Admiral. Among the long list of recreational vehicle brands that once symbolized the American dream, the Holiday Rambler Admiral held a spot of honor. First appearing in the 1990s, it was introduced as a mid-level Class A motorhome designed to balance affordability with enough comfort to make long family trips memorable. Buyers who could not reach the price point of a diesel pusher often chose the Admiral, confident that its gas-powered chassis and roomy interior could still deliver a respectable travel experience. Inside, owners found family-friendly layouts, modest kitchens, and sleeping areas large enough to accommodate both parents and children. For years, it stood proudly in the lineup of Holiday Rambler products, bringing plenty of first-time buyers into the fold. But the recreational vehicle world changed rapidly. Competing manufacturers began offering gas-powered Class A coaches with more modern interiors, high-definition entertainment systems, and improved climate controls. The Admiral's dated styling and inconsistent build quality soon became difficult to ignore. Reports of maintenance frustrations and materials that wore down too quickly only reinforced the sense that the Admiral no longer kept pace. Shoppers who once viewed it as a practical compromise began passing it over for models from competitors that offered a better balance of quality and value. Today, the Holiday Rambler Admiral continues to appear on sales sheets, but its relevance has greatly diminished. Dealers often discount them heavily, and nostalgia seems to be the strongest factor keeping the name alive. Do not blink, because the next section highlights an experiment from one of the most iconic trailer manufacturers that ended in one of the rarest failures in its proud history. Airstream Nest. Every once in a while, even a legendary manufacturer takes a bold leap that does not land as intended, and the Airstream Nest is the perfect example. Unveiled in the late 2000-teens, it represented a dramatic break from the company's signature polished aluminum design. Instead of the iconic silver bullet shape that had defined Airstream for nearly 90 years, the Nest featured a molded fiberglass shell with rounded corners and a minimalist, modern aesthetic. It was compact, lightweight, and meant to appeal to younger adventurers who wanted sleek styling combined with functional interiors. For buyers who dreamed of something different, the Nest appeared daring and forward-thinking. Yet despite the boldness of its vision, the Nest never truly caught on. It carried a premium price tag that felt steep compared to other fiberglass trailers, and longtime Airstream loyalists hesitated to embrace a look that abandoned the company's heritage. Meanwhile, new buyers who appreciated its clean design often gravitated toward less expensive competitors that offered similar utility without the prestige name. In many cases, consumers found that the Nest's compact interior felt too tight for extended travel, making it less practical for families or long-distance journeys. Within only a few short years, the Nest quietly disappeared from production, becoming a rare sight on the resale market. Today, it is remembered more as an ambitious experiment than a success story, an unusual detour in Airstream's otherwise steady history of design excellence. Now fasten your seatbelt, because our countdown concludes with a quirky little motorhome that became a cult favorite, but ultimately proved too troublesome to survive. You've stayed with us through the entire list, so don't miss what's next. Subscribe right now for more powerful RV stories, market secrets, and the models everyone's talking about. Winnebago Rialta. At the very top of our list sits one of the quirkiest and most beloved compact motorhomes ever built, the Winnebago Rialta. Produced from the mid-1990s through the early 2005s, it was constructed on a Volkswagen Transporter chassis, making it unlike almost any other recreational vehicle of its time. At just over 21 feet in length, the Rialta combined European engineering with American-style motorhome living. Inside, clever design allowed for sleeping space, a fold-out bathroom, and even a small galley kitchen, all packed into a footprint small enough to fit into a regular parking spot. For urban travelers or retirees who wanted maneuverability without sacrificing comfort, it was a dream come true. However, what made the Rialta unique also became its downfall. The Volkswagen drivetrain proved costly and difficult to service in the United States, with parts availability shrinking year after year. Mechanics familiar with the platform were hard to find, leaving many owners stranded with repair headaches. As expectations for power, climate control, and technology advanced, the Rialta's modest features began to look dated. It lacked the towing capacity, interior space, and modern amenities that newer buyers demanded. Slowly, it slipped into cult classic status rather than mainstream success. Today, the Winnebago Rialta is no longer in production, but it enjoys a loyal following among enthusiasts who cherish its charm. Spotting one on the highway is rare, yet it always turns heads. Its extinction reflects how niche ideas, no matter how creative, sometimes cannot survive the relentless demands of the recreational vehicle market. And that wraps up our list of 14 RVs vanishing from the road. Some you expected, others probably shocked you, but all of them prove the industry is changing fast. If you learned something new, smash that like button. Leave a comment with the RV you'll miss most, and make sure to subscribe right now, because more eye-opening stories about the future of RVing are coming your way soon.